Good morning, guys. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am, you're not. There's a few people that want to be me, but you can't touch this. How you doing, guys? Welcome to Monday. Monday at 9 a.m. We'll be on my other channel. Everybody's got a story to tell with Toddy One Skip with Rebecca Michelot, talking about how it might have been difficult for some of us this week, about sobriety, just checking in, getting a good conversation going, getting everybody straight for the week, hopefully. And I don't mean straight like that, guys. Come on. I just mean that we're getting it together. Guys, I wanted to talk to you about Gyps Dips. I'm going to go in on that later today. I was watching Night Convos, KNIGHT As you guys know, I love that channel. I talk to those people behind the scenes. They're real. They're good people. And they do a lot of research. They make a lot of phone calls. They get into the what does harsh reality say? The meat and potatoes of things. You lovely people there. I see you beautiful people. Those that know harsh reality, right? That's a YouTube channel I follow. Those that know. Into the meat and potatoes of things. You guys are gorgeous. Just absolutely gorgeous there. I don't know what accent I'm doing. Guys, seriously. So it seems that Gypsy had caseworkers and Gypsy signed things about going to the doctors and getting her teeth yanked out and why her teeth were yanked out. And she had people advocating for her and she had her own mouth. She was able to, even when she was like 21, 22 years old. So guys, let's go back a bit, which I'm hoping that I'm going to do a video with somebody today who had the same idea, to go back and see things with a little bit more hindsight. So Dee Dee's not here. That's something we can't change. The narrative is the only thing I'm interested in changing. And that is, was Dee Dee a criminal? Yeah, she was a grifter. Did she love her daughter? 1,000,000%. She put her daughter before everybody. And whether out of the womb or unfortunately by design or just because of sheer spoiling of a child and making a child your world by worshiping them, Gypsy came to be who she is. And that person is a monster, and not the Monster Mash, but a true monster. Somebody who played somebody of lesser mental capacity for 2 years, broke them down for 2 years, claiming the only way that they could be with them, the only way Gypsy could be with them, and then sending these erotic, I don't think that they're very erotic. You got give it 5 seconds in your head. Tell me how erotic you think that is. These obscene videos of her enjoying herself with, we don't know if it's electric toothbrush. Gypsy, was it an electric toothbrush or was it a regular toothbrush? Did you do some of the work or did you just hold it there? That's the question. I've asked it twice now. I just want to know. And why did she choose that and not just order the tool that is used for that? She just, was she curling the Brussels? Was she curling, what was she doing? It doesn't matter. What matters is she was using what she thought these erotic pictures were to become more appealing to Nick. And I got to tell you, I think that Nick was more looking at a way to save the woman he loved. As we know, Nick, he never got HARD. He didn't. He said it. He never ejaculated. He didn't. I could spell ejaculated. I heard you guys. Yeah, she spells HARD, but she can't spell EJACULATED. D. Guys, you gotta have a little bit of fun in these videos, seriously. But when we go back, we know that what Gypsy lacked in her life was her dad. And I'm not blaming Rod for the MURDER of Dee Dee. I'm not blaming Rod for the evil person his daughter became. Because there are a lot of dads that abandon their children. Okay. And Rod, that's what you did. Halfway abandon. When your kid goes to reach out for you and you ain't there at that moment, you're abandoned. Especially when you say, Rod, going back in time, supposedly she was only going to be on this planet for 18, 19, 20 years max. And you just bided your time. You just bided your time. So what Gypsy lacked was a male figure, right? And what she had was an overprotective mom. And they found their way out through Hurricane Katrina. Now, Gypsy was sick. We already know legitimately she was sick. And as a child, those sicknesses weigh a lot more. And when a child can't explain what's wrong, or a child realizes, ooh, this is how I get attention by acting certain ways. Somebody like Gypsy, you don't know what's real, what's not real. And that's what we keep finding out. But what we do know is that Gypsy was a huge part in playing the role of a sick child when she knew she was an adult. So Gypsy decides she doesn't want to be, this is my opinion, Gypsy decides she doesn't want to be accountable for her mom. She does not want to take care of her mom. Now, whether that's because Dee Dee had spent all this time taking care of her and Gypsy was this whole world and she spoiled her or not, doesn't give her the right to unalive her mom. But for whatever reason, Gypsy decides, I don't want this headache anymore. I had it for 5 minutes. I don't want it anymore. This woman took care of me for decades too. But I don't want this anymore. And she unalives her mom. She does that. Again, there were so many ways to unalive this woman where she wouldn't have felt pain. She could have over medicated her mom. She could have messed with her insulin. She could have given her a shot of air. I mean, I'm not saying the way that it was done was brutal. And the reason, as you guys know, is because I think she was concocting a crime scene and a whole scenario where Nick was going to die in that house and she was going to run away and ultimately they wouldn't have found her. Because I don't think Gypsy was going to stay in that house. Because in order for Gypsy to stay in that house, she would have had to have kept acting like the sick girl, which is something I think she was sick of doing. I think she was sick of doing it, but I think that they had a grift together. And I believe as Gypsy got older and started realizing, you know what? This isn't the life that I want to lead. I believe she started thinking, how do I change it? How do I change it and get out of a wheelchair at the same time? How do I change it without looking like I was part of this grift? The Munchausen by proxy never came into play until the lawyer, until the defense. I think Gypsy, again, was going to pull like a Gone Girl Gone, but she wasn't going to come back. And people would have thought she had died. After so much time, they would have been looking for a dead body because they thought she had cancer. In the meantime, they'd have been looking for somebody in a wheelchair. Gypsy's out there walking the streets, literally, right? I said it. So, seriously, all that happened was that her parents divorced. 50% of the United States people that get married, they get divorced. So, what is it that Gypsy had worse than any other child of divorce? What is it that Gypsy had worse than any other child of divorce? Because like 50% of Americans that get married tend to get divorced. So what is it? Dee Dee had a plan. And you know what? I'm not saying it's right. She got her kid a house. She got her kid medical care. And they both had to play a role in it. And I think Gypsy knew about that role because she's admitted to that she's had to lie for 24 years. Right? And that's why Ken can't lie to her because she'll spot a liar like that. Right? Con men, no con men, right? So she said this And she has implicated herself without any punishment, apparently, right? Because she's not had to pay any of the money back to anybody. Not anybody. Dee Dee paid with her life, but Gypsy, no. And then what happened was a picture came into play that had to do with the DA and everything that happened in Missouri. And Gypsy lucked out and got on that board. And everybody decided to go against Nick and say that Nick, in the meantime, it was Gypsy, but she looked bad for the DA. She looked bad if they were to give her the death penalty. With that squeaky voice. And then this brilliant alibi of Munchausen by proxy. It wouldn't have looked good for the DA. And chances are the DA probably wouldn't have been reelected. And that's what happened there. You know, I've heard that. I didn't believe that at first. I believe that now. I do. I believe that now. And you guys could look into those dates and look into that more so. It's there. The information's there. If you look into it, Dan Patterson, you look into Dan Patterson and the theory of maybe why Gypsy Rose got the sentence she got. And in the meantime, Nick's doing his time. Proudly, I guess, with no problem. So, guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Gypsy, it seems like everything she touches turns to gold. But as you guys know, ultimately, if you don't take care of gold, it turns to shit until you polish it up again. Be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Take care, guys.